Welcome back. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's enjoying their day. I certainly am. Let's dive right in, but don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. And remember, you can also always skip around using the timestamps in the bottom description area beneath each video. Get into the markets. Kind of a calm day. Down 2-3%, 29,000. We've been seeing a lot of this. Then again, crypto doesn't really move too much on Fridays, or the weekends definitely doesn't move either. Even on Mondays, it doesn't really move too much. Crypto's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday industry. I've been noticing that lately, so a lot of calm on Fridays typically. This I went over yesterday. This is good news in my opinion. So this is the 6-month chart. It shows the NASDAQ composite on top and then Bitcoin on the bottom. You can see coupling occurs here. The two charts price movements are almost identical for NASDAQ and Bitcoin. That's bad. Obviously, the one thing that gives crypto its attraction is the outsized returns. Every single year since inception, 2009, Bitcoin has consistently outperformed the S&P 500, the NASDAQ composite, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's outperformed every major equities market. So if they started becoming coupled and performed, equally every year, then crypto would lose its allure. You always hear people saying, "Oh, just be patient, hodl, you'll make money in the long run." So if that stopped happening, that would be a problem. But the good news is, even though this doesn't look like good news, look at the last week or two here. So this is the Terra implosion. Obviously, it affected Bitcoin big time. It plummeted. But it surprisingly had no effect on the NASDAQ composite. Look at this here. None. And the NASDAQ composite, that's the one that has all the big tech stocks. So you would have really affected something like, a big crypto company like Terra imploding to affect NASDAQ. It didn't. So this is good news. It's good news because you just don't want crypto to be affected by global macro things. Obviously, like when COVID hit March 2020, something drastic like that, that's always going to have an effect on every market, including crypto. But other global macro effect, things you just don't really want it to affect crypto as much. So I think that's good news that there's decoupling occurring. Also went over this yesterday. So a lot of people like me have been saying it really feels like 2018, which on the surface isn't that good because that was the start of a long bear market, but it might not be that bad. It might look like we're actually kind of on the more of the bear end of the first part of the bear market in 2018. So this is 2018, so as I was saying, 6,000 was the floor price for a while, for 5 months, and then we went below to about 3,000 for another 5 months, and then after that it kind of went up to like the $5,000 to $10,000 range for another year and a half, but it only stayed at the 3,000 level for 5 months. So I had thought initially that the 6,000 level was the equivalent of 30,000 now, but really if you look here, this is the 2022 chart. So for a good 4 months, the last 4 months, we were at 40,000. It felt like it was more choppy, I thought, but no, we were pretty much right at 40,000 for 4 months. So that kind of looks like it's the equivalent of the 5 months here at 6,000. And then now we're 1 month into 30,000. But if these two charts and parallels hold, then for another, 3 months or so, we'll be down at 30,000. And then it will start to go up as it did right here. And then for the next year or so, we'd at least be higher. We'd be at probably the $40,000 to $60,000 range. So, that's worse than a year and a half at the $30,000 range. That's for sure. So that's actually not bad news there. What else is in the news here? Hashed Wallet takes a $3.5 billion hit. So this is the biggest fund that lost the most money if in the Terra debacle implosion. If you've never heard of Hashed Wallet, join the club. I hadn't either. That was 13% of their total assets. They lost $3.5 billion. So if you do the math, this fund or whatever they are, they have $25 billion in total assets. So let's see what they are. The article goes on to say, so they're a big tech VC in South Korea. So they're not just a crypto fund. They're a mainstream tech VC that has a crypto branch. They have $25 billion in total assets. They initially invested in Terra and they started looking at it in 2019, but they didn't get in until the 2021 round, which was $25 million total. So they probably invested maybe in the $10 to $15 million range, which, if that turned into $3.5 billion, then that's a lot of money was made and then lost. But the article also said the initial investment was 0.5% of their total net asset value, and then it turned into 13%. So that just went to, even though they could have been a little more diversified, generally big funds want to have between 1% and 5% max in each individual investment. 13% is a little high. This fund is still doing fine. They didn't go out of business. or anything. They said when they started doing their due diligence in 2019, they liked the teams executing. They built quickly, they hired quickly, they facilitated and interacted with the community quickly. They liked their execution speed, mechanical design, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the team did grow quickly. Obviously, they don't mention the marketing. No one's like, oh, I love their marketing. That's, you always want to kind of focus on the good things that you saw, the execution and, hardcore user base numbers. Big winner in the crash, USDC stablecoin. As I've been, you think, oh, crypto just got hit, but no, the one winner is USD stablecoin. So the market cap went from 48 billion a week ago to 52 billion now. It's near their all-time market cap of all-time high of 53 billion. It's their 3 and 4 in the total market cap. As I'm saying, I think it's going to be a Coke and Pepsi race. Now, USDC also, like Tether, they're not too forthcoming on what their reserves are, what kind of collateral is backing all their reserves. Even though it's a US-based company, they've also been a little wishy-washy, but the ratios are supposed to be pretty similar. And this I showed yesterday. This is Tether, what they've said that they're backed by. So they just kind of broke it into categories. They have not been that forthcoming about the individual investments that are backing their collateral, but they've, segued it into different categories. So 75% cash equivalent short-term deposits. So that's the stuff that would be instantly redeemable in a liquidation event. Then 12% secured loans that should be, you never really know how secure that would be, but that gets a higher precedence than unsecured loans for whatever that backing is. And look at 10% corporate bonds, that's kind of the junk bonds. That's debts in companies that can't get funded in any other way. So it's companies that aren't doing well, that are on the verge of imploding themselves. So that 10% probably wouldn't be redeemable in a total Tether liquidation. The 1% other investments probably wouldn't. So this isn't. It's not that bad. It's 10 to 20% sort of wishy-washy junk bonds, you could say, or stuff that probably wouldn't be redeemable. But 80%, 75, 80% should theoretically be redeemable, or at least on paper it certainly is. CZ, he has shared his lessons. I like it. He just kind of condenses it in just a simple, easy to understand. It wasn't that complicated, just what went down. But the one difference is between this and Tether and USD. As I've said, Terra had the minting redemption factor in it, where if you owned UST, then you could redeem that at any given time for $1 worth of Terra, and then that wouldn't have been quite as bad if the Luna that you would redeem it for was coming from their circulating supply, but that's not the case. They created a new Luna coin every time one of the USD holders redeemed it, which once, as I discussed, once UST lost its peg and went less than $1, 96, 97 cents, that was an easy arbitrage opportunity that a bunch of holders took advantage of, and then compounding the problem, then Terra had to create a new inflationary Luna coin every time somebody tried to redeem it, and that just created the cascading effect. And this was all made worse by the fact that Terra's APY on the staking and the Anchor protocol was just not sustainable. It's between 18 and 20%. That's just higher than normal, so that did attract a lot of UST staking deposits. A lot of people were using this, but as CZ points out, the only way they were able to keep that going was that Terraform Labs had a bunch of other super successful investments. They basically just had a lot of cash, and so they were able to sort of keep up with these deposits. But once the coin started imploding, this is what accelerated the implosion process. Then, as I showed, Sam Bankman-Fried also highlighted that it was just marketing memes gone wrong, which is true. That's, he was a good hype man, Do Kwon, but that was not the only reason why. And then, at this point in my mind, you have two good stable coins here that are just backed by reserves. There's no redemption mechanism that would spiral out of control if they lose their peg, and these two coins have lost their peg just temporarily, and they redeemed it. If anyone puts their money in any algorithmic stablecoin, I think they're just crazy. Like Justin Sun, I have nothing against him, but his USDD stablecoin, which is also an algorithmic stablecoin, and he's a great hype man, just like Do Kwon is. I got nothing against the guy, but if anyone puts their money in this USDD coin, you gotta have your head examined, in my opinion. You got two Great non-algorithmic stablecoins right there. Moving on to this I covered yesterday, the sports side. Some sectors actually are mooning right now. The sports coins, they were up about 100% over the last 7 days. So it's mostly European soccer fan tokens, Manchester City fan token, FC Barcelona fan token, AC Milan fan token. Look at the 7-day chart. They're all up between 50 and 150%. So a lot of it was the Algorand FIFA partnership. Algorand has been named as the lead crypto and blockchain sponsor of the FIFA World Cup. So not the number one sponsor overall, just the lead blockchain and crypto sponsorship, which was actually pretty kind of a surprise. You wouldn't necessarily expect it to be a company like Algorand, but yeah, that Algorand did have a little pump after that. That was on May 3rd. It went up 25%. Algorand coin from 60 cents to 74 cents. Then it kind of gave up most of those gains, as pretty much every blockchain did. But then the Socios and the Chili's coins and then the fan tokens didn't have an immediate effect, but that's what happens with a lot of this stuff. It just kind of spurs a whole ecosystem into action. So the Algorand part, this is what got the developers moving. And then, Socios, they just called into action. They launched their mainnet a week later. They announced a token burn. A bunch of other partnerships were announced at once. So sometimes it's just one action. It's not going to have an immediate price impact on the smaller coins, but it does spur those smaller coins into action. Developers start mobilizing, and then a week or two later, then you see a bunch of big announcements and price pumps, and that's what happened here. And then another Kyber network, another coin that just quietly has just been exploding last week. Look at this here in the top 300 coins. Number 2 performing coin in the top 300 over 7 days, up 96%. It's one of those coins you see, you don't really know what it does. You just heard about it. It's not sexy in any way, but it's just performed great. So here's their 1-year charts. Or there's actually just their 3-month chart here. So they huge, from $2 to $5.50 in the 1.5 mark here. So that's up about, what is that, like 300% when Bitcoin was remaining completely flat. So way outperformed that. But a lot of times when coins with just good fundamentals, when they fall lower than they should for no apparent reason, then they go back up. So this is the Terra implosion here. It went way down, but it just went way down, down way more than it should have. When $5.50 gave up all the gains, went down to $1. So I saw this, I'm like, what's going on? It's like an 80-90% loss when got solid fundamentals. It's the Kyber. They're a liquidity provider for DeFi platforms. They have 11 different DeFi exchanges, platforms that they work with. BitTorrent was their latest partnership. So it's just, good fundamentals, a lot of use cases, a lot of partnerships. And then they, for no reason other than just when the market goes down, the altcoins go down even more so. And that's what happened here. And it just went down too much. Then it spiked since then. Up here, it's 100% up in the last 7 days. Not really any major announcements, just on the Twitter page, just a bunch of meetups. They had a Discord theme contest. They announced they finished the BitTorrent full integration. It's a possible partnership with Solus. It's a DeFi insurance program they've alluded to. They also announced a partnership with Ape Board. That's a DeFi platform. So that's their 11th DeFi platform that they're providing liquidity hub services to. So yeah, they're just getting stuff done. That's all for today. No videos this weekend, but I will be back Monday with a new video, and I got some great videos planned for next week. So everybody have a good weekend. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see everyone later.